The beautiful Moscow with the Russian crowd, and of course Gambit are going to be coming out later on today, and don't the crowd absolutely love them. Good luck, have fun exchange between the two teams, and that doesn't mean, of course, Lemondogs are playing as the blue and Ninjas in Pyjamas as the red side, playing from top to bottom. Let's see how this works out. Will Ninjas in Pyjamas get themselves a second win, stretch themselves, just claw their way effectively off the bottom of that table, and actually will go equal with Evil Geniuses if they pick that win up. Meanwhile, Lemondogs, actually, they'd go 3-4 if they lost.
Yeah, so, I mean,
it's tricky.
You can tell both teams really want this win, because it really can mix up the entire standings, but even we're going to see a lane swap actually happen here. A little bit surprised they didn't let Dexter go in first, since obviously he'll have that stealth ability to get in there. But one thing that made Tab so strong in their game versus SK, he was running 24 flat armor pen. He's doing it yet again, so whoever he's going up against is going to be very, very painful. Like, the damage he's going to do.
Absolutely, we'll see how that works out for them. Pink ward, of course, from Deficio, making sure that they do take vision away in that bush. Very aggressive wards as well.
I'm actually a little surprised that NIP hasn't been doing any more aggressive ward. They've been doing defensive, because it's an Evelyn. So we've had people talk about there's no point in green warding or vision warding, sight warding against an Evelyn. If anything, you buy a pink ward. So you kind of need to get position on them as much as possible, and yet they didn't try to ward the red buff. They didn't try to ward, well, at least they got the ward. No, they didn't even try to ward the blue buff, so they have no idea where Dexter's going to be at all times, and this is going to be really painful for NIP if they misplay this.
They did pin on Nuke Duck, so he came around to maybe look towards those wraiths, realised that they hadn't started there, so did gain vision, knows exactly, or roughly, where that Svenskeren did start off. They know that he's going to be around that blue buff. God, bro, will he be given the blue buff? No,
no.
Be amazing now. He doesn't really need the blue buff in lane. It's going to be Godbro's taking that one. Dexter very low, though, on that red. Not going to be using the smite, though. He's going to head off to the wraiths. He's going to get spotted by that ward if he steps any closer to it. No, he's not going to step close to it. He's going to go straight for his blue.
So NIP, I think, got maybe outplayed is the correct term, is that they wanted the Test and Deficio to go top lane. They wanted them to have an easy lane, and they didn't want to go up against this Varus-Nami combo. And the thing is, Tabs, with that 24 armor pen, he is going to hurt the Test and Deficio so much. So that's why Lemondogs end up switching them up there, because they want to make that happen. They want to make some plays go. And if anything, I think NIP, they're going to respond by leaving middle lane alone. I think just leave Bjergsen on his own island, and then make sure to help out the Test. Make sure to help out Godbro.
This is an early gank setup here. You can see Dexter, they put that pink ward in the bush to secure safe passage for Dexter to get straight towards that lane. They want to allow, and look at Test and Deficio, they're like, yeah, you were just shoving us. Why are you allowing us to step that little bit closer? I don't think this is going to happen.
Oh, Dexter has made his way in, though. Gotta be very careful here. I mean, obviously NIP has a lot of escape mechanisms right now, so it's going to be hard to pick up a kill, but they might be able to blow a summoner. Oh my gosh, so close to being spotted right there.
Very, very close. He has got in towards the bush, we see. Now he's going to get around the backside of them. It will be the hail of arrows that will trigger this one off. You can see he's going to hit level 2. He's going to have the piercing arrow. He fires it off towards the Test. The shield, though, from Deficio was enough to step him away. That was an unsuccessful gank by Dexter.
And right now, just took a look at the CS. I just glanced down there. I was like, holy crap, look at this bottom lane. 16-3 right now. Obviously, Godbro has a giant wave at his turret, but that is not what you want to see on Nasus. You need him farming really easily. And obviously, he's not going to have his Q stacked up for a long time here. But Svenskeren, knowing where Dexter was, is going to be going for a little bit of counter jungling here. Yeah, and Dexter actually himself trying to use a drive-by smite there, but it also means that Svenskeren is going to use his own and take away that wraith. Dexter about to come around the corner. I think they know it as well, you know. Look at Svenskeren. He wants to try and maybe set something up on Dexter. It kills a little bit of problem towards him. They both got the double buff. It would be a racy game to play, and instead it does mean they're going to back off. How is this mid lane going to work, though? Jace versus Elise. We know that obviously it is actually Bjergsen winning out in the CS right now. He's had that little bit of a freedom against Nuke Duck. Nuke Duck just going to take a little while to get going, I assume. Wants to get that Tear of the Goddess on there first. Well, if you look what he built, actually, it was a Doran's Blade. That's the first time he bought. You never see that on Jace's. It's usually the Fairy Charm mixed in with health pots and wards just to play safe. So he wanted to go for some really aggressive damage, but the thing is, though, how I see it, he has to poke Bjergsen down quite a bit before he can afford to go in, because once he goes in with the hammer form, Bjergsen has pretty much double the spells he has, because he can just switch into Spider Form. Well, at least not double spells, but do a lot more damage than he can up close and personal, not to mention the cocoon. So if anything, it's just going to be a farm lane for now until the junglers really do interact, or maybe Nuke Duck gets just enough poke in.
Well, it's two champions with 7 spells.
Right.
It's a confusing fight, that'll be.
But the thing is, for Nuke Duck, though, Acceleration Gate doesn't really give you anything in either form, not too much damage, so.
Yeah. as it is, this bottom lane, as you pointed out earlier, is the one that's being the point of farm. Dexter will see Svenskeren coming across there. Despite the fact that red buff has turned around, Nukeduck's going to go aggressive. Bjergsen's in with him, just flashes away from that slide, tries to turn aggressive on towards Bjergsen. Here comes Dexter. Is he going to have enough damage? Yes, he does. He picks up first blood. Now they're on towards Svenskeren. Dexter's going to force him away with those hate spikes. He's going to take him all the way to the tower. That's going to force him back there. Very well played by Lemondogs. They simply knew that was coming.
What happened? I'm sorry, I'm looking back at the replay on my computer, and you did see that, Bjergsen, he actually flashed away, but somehow he still got hit back into Jace. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we'll pull up a replay of that on the analysis desk, but that was really funky.
Oh, with the hammer, you mean?
Yeah, it pulled him back. Somehow, even though he was out of range. I don't know, it was really funky, but hopefully the analysis desk does look at that a little bit later. But still, great job of them to pick up that first blood, and that was with Dexter turning that gank around because they knew where Svenskeren was.
They knew exactly where he was because Dexter was stood in that corner. So what have they done? What have they gone back to buy? Bjergsen's actually picked himself up 2 amplifying tomes. We'll see what he goes with that.
Spirit of the Ancient Golem.
Gonna go first item.
Not Ancient Golem, the Spectral Wraith.
The Spectral Wraith. What did Jack call it? The
selfish lifesteal item.
Selfish lifesteal spellbound item. That was the exact word. We're gonna make sure we use the right terminology here. It's League of Legends Championship Series, and what Jet says goes.
It's true. he is pretty much the guru here.
Of course, as it stands, we do see this top lane returning. Pink ward from Deficio, making sure that that tri-bush is cleared out. They don't want to get any sneaky evidence coming up behind them from Dexter. Does also mean that Svenskeren's taking another peek towards this mid lane, walking straight past the ward there, puts a ward of his own on towards the Wraiths, and the Wraiths are not there, so he's not going to be able to gain any advantage from that.
Demon, I'm going to be really ballsy here. I'm going to make a call. It's like 20 minutes ahead of time.
Twitch?
Oh, no, not that one. But we see 2 Spirit Stones already picked up. If Bjergsen goes for a Spirit Stone, I think we're going to see a very early Baron come out of NIP.
Well, we do see some very early aggression. It's going to be Godbro. Godbro's going to try and pop his ultimate. I don't think he's going to be able to walk away from this one. Dexter actually out of mana, does manage to flash from it and will escape safely. So Ninjas in Pyjamas do manage to work the way out of a bit of a hole there.
And sorry, but to go back, but I say this because Lemondogs actually the slowest Baron taking team, and NIP is the second slowest, so 7th and 8th place. I think that's really going to catch them off guard if they can pull that off, not to mention give them a huge lead for these fights. So we'll see if that happens. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. Hopefully I'm the former of those two.
Well, speaking of huge leads, just look at that bottom lane. Godbro is miles behind Zoro right now. He's over double the CS, almost up to triple, in fact. He's getting very close to. That has got to be big problems. We saw it with Soaz on Kennen earlier on. He's a bit of a CS master, as it seems, in that bottom lane these days, or top lane, whichever you'd like to call it, in the solo lane. And he's causing so many problems. And, bro, you know, Nasus needs the farm.
Yeah, he does. And it actually might be time for him to maybe try to let his turret go, just so he can have a lane to farm out, though the rest allows Zorzo to roam around and be able to interact with the other lanes. But it's going to be very tricky. Only 22 CS, about 8.5 minutes in. And you're definitely, he needs to get something. He needs these items to really be effective. I mean, forget the farm. Like, yeah, his Q farm helps out a lot, but he needs the tankiness for these fights.
He needs the gold. It's simply put. He's triple the CS. How often do you see that? Not very often.
Only in the very beginning when someone has 1 CS.
And when you know that it's there, when you know that you do see them triple figures, it's generally going to spell some pretty bad times for the opposition. As it stands, though, it is the only difference really between the two. It's that 11,500 to 10,200. Top lane is not having too bad a time. They're pretty much even on CS, both AD carries and supports. We see Svenskeren trying to set something up, trying to create a little bit to help out his bottom lane. They don't want to leave him on the island, but I don't think they should do this.
I think Zoro could 1v2 them right now, because right now Godbro, he finally does have his ultimate up yet again. But I think he could probably do this with his ultimate available, with the double Doran's blades he has. But Dexter is here. Like, he expects this. He's going to come in and try to counter this.
This is a big mistake. And actually, Zoro is purposely keeping that position to try and bait them in. Look at Dexter. He's literally in his face. And I believe some angry words will be exchanged between these two. Svenskeren's kind of unsure whether to call this one. Now they're going to go into it. They're just going to tower dive this. Now they realize that Svenskeren's there. Has got Cataclysm available instead. The Wither goes down, and they do cause him some pain there. And it's Svenskeren, just as you called. You know, the fact that he took, what, two-thirds of his hit points off there.
Yeah, it seemed like maybe a little miscommunication on Lemondogs' side, where they potentially could have picked up that kill right there, but in the end, they still do push him back. They still deny Godbro a lot of farm, which was just the key.
Well, CS-wise, it's still Zoro. There's a head, and now he's going to get jumped on. Cataclysm comes out there and actually flashed straight over it. There's the Wither coming out from Godbro. Going to try and get his Q in there. Has to use his ultimate. I'm still not sure whether the damage is there. Zoro does flash away, though. and just makes sure he is still safe, and that's going to buy Godbro a little bit of time to get some free farm to try and claw his way back into this lane. And he's just up to half CS now, so he is gaining it back slowly.
And we're seeing something right now that people really ask a lot of questions about in terms of, like, if you're jungling solo queue, if one lane is hurting this bad, is it even worth it to help them? Like, is it worth it to come gank for them where you could get potentially 1v2? Is it better just go gank other lanes and get them ahead? But you're seeing, you know, NIP, they're reacting to it by sending Svenskeren down there quite a bit. I believe it's the second or third time. And he hasn't really visited any other lanes just yet. And they're really trying to help him get back in the game because they need that tank out of him.
But that's actually hurting Svenskeren as well. Because if you look at CS 55 to 40, and obviously the kill on top, Dexter's stretched ahead in terms of gold between those two. We'll see what items that turns equate to shortly. Of course, the kill was from Dexter in that mid lane on towards it was Bjergsen, I believe, of course it was, who that had that funky hammer drop on towards him. These top two laners, though, has been AD carries. Tabs and the Tess have been honestly keeping toe for toe in terms of CS. Who does that really help out there? Dexter's just thought about interrupting Bjergsen from going back there. Safe to do it. Instead, Godbro is going to get aggressed on by Zoro, puts down that Spirit Fire, continues to farm. Once he gets to a certain stage, he's not going to be too worried about Zoro.
Yeah, I mean, once he gets that tankiness he needs, he can just out-lifesteal the damage that Zoro can put out, unless, obviously, Dexter does visit the lane. But I don't think he's just at that point just yet. Maybe a little bit of lifesteal, maybe some Merc treads would help him out, but he'll almost be at that point, you know, relatively soon, the next couple of minutes, too. You know, be tanky enough to finally farm for free.
Well, we're just waiting for things to get going here. 12 minutes gone, piercing arrows shot across the Tess. And we do see Deficio maybe looking up to try and help out. The ward was placed in the river again, this time from Lemondogs, so no actual vision if we do see Dexter heading up towards that top lane. If he was to go in there, as long as he avoids the tri-bush, he may be able to create something.
But 0-0, he doesn't have flash, just like I said. He does have ultimate available, though. Svenskeren wants to make something happen. Dexter's nowhere near this right now, so it is a pure 2v1. But Sorzo, he's just not getting baited into this.
Well, the warning sign's coming down because Bjergsen passes by a ward, and that immediately gives the sign for Nukeduck and Dexter try and go for it. Meanwhile, it is going to be this bottom lane dive. They do manage to get the Cataclysm on towards him. Zoro may well go down. This could be the first kill for Ninjas in Pyjamas here. Yes, it will be. Now Bjergsen's going in towards that mid lane. Let's see if he tries to get on towards Dexter, taking that turret down very low. Instead, he's just going to repel towards the minions and protect the turret. But that is all square now in terms of kills. 1-1, but that was such an important kill for Godbro.
Yes, it was. You can't stress that enough because he needed that gold. He needed that freedom in lane. And we're going to see what he's going to go back and buy. They're actually pushing this turret. They might want to try to take it very soon just to kind of get him out of that lane. But either way, he's still going to need that farm. And Dexter will be here to stop it.
Dexter does come down, puts down his ultimate actually, tries to turn it on towards Godbro, tries to turn the damage. I think he's got enough there. The Wither comes out. He's actually took them both very, very low. No teleports available, of course, for Lemondogs, so nobody else to back him up. And he just forced him away from the turret.
And I'm trying to go back to that Baron prediction. If Svenskeren picks up some armor, I think they easily could do it about 15 minutes because Bjergsen's strong enough right now. He has the spell vamp for it. Even has that. Actually, I'm just curious what he's going for with that item with that Kindle gem. I want to see him a little bit of cooldown reduction, but we're going to see as the game goes on, obviously. And you look at Godbro, picks up a Negatron Cloak because he realizes, just like we were saying before, he needs that MR. And once he gets that point where he's tanky enough, he can just stay in lane.
We'll see what that turns into. CS-wise, in terms of ADs, bang on even. Mid lane, pretty much even between the two. Bottom lane is really where it's all been happening. Zoro and Godbro, the little pokes back and forward. The aggression, though, on towards the Tess. Hail of Arrows coming out there. Piercing Arrow will be up in a moment if Tabs chooses to go for it. Instead, he's happy to just farm out and continue the pressure on this top turret. In terms of pressure on turrets, it has all been Lemondogs. That bottom turret, that was under a lot of pressure early on. We see this top turret being pushed once again by Lemondogs, and the mid turret, that's almost down as well. So it's going to be Lemondogs that surely pick up the advantages, but Nukeduck's going to get dived on, has to drop the hammer, the repel comes out. Is it going to be enough? He does get the Fang sunk in there. Bjergsen picks up the kill, and look at that. He can't get caught by Dexter. He's managed to get away. In fact, he's setting up a trap.
That damage is just ridiculous. He's waiting for him to come by, and unfortunately, he's not in the correct, well, actually the right position to pick him up, but with Svenskeren coming around, they might be able to make a play off this. However, it's really hard to lock down an Evelyn.
They're going to try and come in there, and immediately forces him to back away from that one, so Bjergsen will continue that farm. So, advantage gain there, but Godbro, again, getting the Wither down on Zoro. As soon as Zoro goes aggressive on him, Svenskeren thought about going down that bottom, didn't know whether he had to go and help again. The ward in the river would have given his position away. And it's all back to normal once again. Very close in gold. This is a delicate game, balancing on the edge. Bjergsen Gets a little bit of hate spikes from Dexter, turns it back around, sinks the fangs down, throws out some poison. Cocoon not quite finding his target though. Dexter will just take a little bit of a lane tax.
Yeah, I think he's pretty happy with that. Actually, he was trying to interrupt Bjergsen. Actually, they do. But I'm not going to chase him down. But still, anyways, you did interrupt him. You just have a decent amount of money to spend, sitting at 1,500. And, dude, I'm curious. Is this the first time we've seen one team have every spirit item? I'm trying to cast my mind back if there's any other game that had one of each.
They have got one of each, and I'm sure there must be a stat there somewhere, but Bjergsen's actually going to miss out. He goes on towards Nuke. This hit, then Fang sunk in, and that's going to be the Cataclysm. He will go down. Svenskeren picks up the kill. They're going to turn his back on Dexter. Dexter's got to be careful he doesn't run into this one. The Cocoon does land, goes on towards the turret. Bjergsen's actually taking the turret. He's going to go down, repels away. Brilliant stuff there. Gets in towards the minions and avoids the turret last hit.
And that's why Bjergsen's so damn good. He knows his limits. He knows when he needs to back off, and with Godbro coming around, they actually could take this turret down.
This could be the first turret of the game. It does mean, of course, Kenner's going to take the bottom turret. That's going to leave that exposed. But this turret in the mid lane is more important than any of those. It is going to be Zoro picking one up, and that's going to be Godbro taking the mid turret. So one apiece. Top turret was also shoved down pretty heavily. Not too sure whether that's going to go down, but both the duo lane back off. Godbro actually getting a little bit caught. Just walks away from the Aqua Prism from We Will Failure.
They all back together. That's like...
That's really triggering. They're going, we're going to drag it. We need to get
something.
It.
Yeah, is that... well, I was thinking for NIP side that they're grouping up for something here, but they are heading down to Dragon right now. But Lemondogs, they're already on it. They don't have a pink ward on it. Actually, that's NIP's. And Godbro, can you stall them 1v5? I don't think so.
They know they've got to go fast here as well, and you can see Godbro's going to try and come in, tries to get the Q, doesn't land it, and now he's going to try and keep We Will Failure there for longer, and he's just going to keep him away. He has got the Aqua Prism thrown out there. The rest of Ninjas in Pyjamas do come down, and then Emo try and collapse into this one. This could be a 5v5 to a turret, but Godbro taking really low from that piercing arrow.
He's going to back away definitely off of that one, and that is a free Dragon for Lemondogs. And now NIP with the 4 members, looks like they actually might go for a little bit of a push on middle here. They do have pink ward. I'm still hoping you're going for Baron here. I keep looking for any stuff that might trigger a little bit more. They do have a pink ward, and they might. No, okay. Let's just gonna go towards blue here and potentially take it away. But wow, Zorzo engaged on Godbro who flashes.
Gonna get on towards him. The stun's not gonna come out. It does back away from that one. Wither was enough to walk away. It is going to be a 3-man push on towards that top turret, so it looks like Bjergsen, the Tess, and Deficio will try and put the aggression down. We've seen Lemondogs reacting to it, though. They're going to walk straight past the pink ward, and they realised, maybe exactly like you did, they saw those items out there and they're thinking, is this going to be an early Baron?
Yeah.
Or will they simply come around, defend? They do catch the shock blast on Tess, and that's going to keep them away from the turret.
It looks like they wanted to take that turret, shove that lane, and then potentially regroup up, but Zoro, he's not letting them. He's in the bottom right now, still pushing it away, and Lemondogs, they're just reacting to it everywhere NIP goes currently. They are up in kills. Actually, they're not up in kills, but they are up in gold currently. And the next step for them, I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be. Maybe they're going to keep going for that split push, because Zoro, look at his farm still, 139. He's way ahead of his counterpart. And even Tabs, 162 farm.
Well, it is going to be the top lanes back against each other in terms of AD. They are very much even, close in gold as well, just 100 between the two. Mid laners very close actually, despite the kills that Bjergsen did pick up, and obviously getting towards that turret. Just 300 gold between them. 700 gold advantage for Dexter meanwhile, and the top lane Zoro. We knew that's where the main difference would have been, and it is of course just a 600 gold gap. So still very, very close between all of the lanes at the moment. Just so you can see 500 gold separating both teams. The mid turret though may go down here if Lemondogs do Lemondogs. Maybe they're going to be ducks as well. We're going to make a couple of names for them. To be honest, that is actually one of the nicknames that Panky gave them because of Nuke Duck. Huh. That was the game name.
Well, it's like your motto cannon, like
yep.
Team Solo Mebdi, Lemondogs. Anyways, they're going for a push in the middle here. That turret's already very low at this point. It looks like NIP might catch We Will Failure.
He does manage to get the Glitter Lance, tries to throw out the Aqua Prison and catches both of them in it, throws out the Tidal Wave. The Test can't ride it, but he does manage to throw out his True Shot Barrage and drops him down.
That was a great job by them. It was a great Aqua Prison, but luckily for the Test, he aimed that one perfectly. Able to pick up that kill. They should be able to shove that turret down now. And so where's Zoe? He's trying to be aggressive, trying to keep control of this blue buff, but Bjergsen, he's coming around back middle. He might be able to pick up something here because Svenskeren's already in middle right now. He's going to try to go for something. They are going to go in.
They're going in towards the Dexter. I'm not too sure whether they want to go aggression. They do manage to catch it. It's Nuke Duck now they're going to turn the target to, but it's going to be a 3v2 tight. They're quickly trying to evacuate this one. We do see the flash coming out. The shock blast lands on Svenskeren. The flash comes out, and Zoro, just as he was about to slide away, the Shuriken comes in and finishes him off. And Good, manages to get the kill.
And unfortunately, I bet Svenskeren facepalm right there because he queued before he E'd and wasn't able to get himself pulled away anywhere. It's a great turnaround by Lemondogs to just realize, hey, we know where Bjergsen's going to be. We know where Svenskeren is. Why not just go for a 3v2 engage and take a kill off of that? And that's exactly what they did. Now, items being built up. We have the Manamune now done for Nuke Duck. And we even have, well, the Sphere of the Ancient Lizard's already been done for Dexter for quite a while. But 2 Haunting Guys is actually picked up here. So he's going for that kind of true damage build on Evelynn. But they're going to have a lot of penetration already, especially if Zora Zero goes for the Bessel Scepter.
Oro Zero.
Yeah, it's like Gold Zero. I don't know.
I'm not too sure either, but it's going to be Chain of Corruption. There's the piercing arrow. The Test tries to turn it back around. Barrier comes out, and the Test just bites him straight down. Jumps in. Absolute aggression from the Test, and it worked. He still even had Barrier ready and waiting to go.
That Blade of the Rune King working, like paying dividends right there because of the heal it gives him. Not to mention that ultimate just completely shredded him because it only hit tabs, and now I'm just thinking about what's going to happen next, because now NIP, they're going to go for a push on this top turret, and still Godbro's been left bottom. The CS difference has actually been widening quite further right now, and they have to do something about that, because Zoro Zero is going to be a really big pain. But NIP, they're going to go for 3-man push here. The turret, not that low just yet, but we already have We Will Fail already coming in. Zoro Zero getting caught bottom.
Well, actually, Neo Godbro going aggressive this time on Zora Zero. Haven't seen that one happen for a while, and does mean the top lane is going to continue getting pushed on here. They have the minions. They do throw out the cocoon. It doesn't land on there. Dexter will clear out with the haste spikes. That's going to be the Aqua Prison. Is going to be enough to turn it around. It was Bjergsen. Maybe it was a bit of a false trap there, catching a spider in the bubble. He was ready to pounce out of it.
And he got away. I mean, it was actually a really good idea because Jace could have jumped into him, knocked him back into his own team, and they might have been able to pick that up. But now Taz is back. They're trying to defend against his turret push, but it's going to go down either way.
It is going to go down, and that's going to be 3-2 in turrets. And look at this bottom turret. That's not going to last long against a big NASA's throwing out those Qs, and he's going to take that down. 3-3, all square in turrets, and look at the gold. Just 100 between them.
And now's the time to see. Are we going to have that Baron come up, and is that going to be done? Or are we going to have Dragon be done in about 30 seconds here? Because NIP, they have another pink ward down yet again. They're actually warding up Baron right now decently well. I mean, Lemondogs, they're the slowest Baron taking team in LCS right now for the summer split. And yet they're still warding up against it. So maybe they actually want to go for it.
Well, you never know when they're going to pull a surprise out. And remember the pressure that's on Ninjas in Pyjamas here against Lemondogs. This new upstart team coming in. Ninjas in Pyjamas are looking at desperately. They went 0-9 at the start before. They are 1-5. The last thing they want to do is go 1-6, that's for sure. And the pressure almost certainly on them. You know, they talked about how the management supports them, but at the end of the day, they've changed into a new team. They've got that on their shoulders. They're not the underdogs that they were before. They are now effectively an established team, and they've had a horrible start to the season.
Yeah, and considering it's off the back of like a fantastic season for them, where, you know, obviously their score wasn't amazing, but to go from 0-9 to actually take 5th place was just a dream come true for them, because it guaranteed, well, almost guaranteed them a spot. But they need to prove it. They need to prove that they were there in the spring split for a reason. They need to prove they're here for a reason. And maybe, I mean, this game, they've been actually playing quite differently. They're up in kills, tied in turns, but down in gold. But they're still playing a lot differently, a lot better. And Svenskeren's really stepped up, I have to say.
Absolutely. So the spiders coming out. Zoro Zero looking towards it. It's going to be a dragon dance. A couple of pink wards coming out. And Lemondogs thinking, okay, we might be able to try and create an advantage and shove this mid lane, try and push the wave on towards the turret and buy in a little bit of advantage. But Ninja Pyjamas, they're not really ready to accept that. Defisio does get in with that ward, and they managed to clear it out. Meanwhile, Bjergsen has started off the dragon down the bottom here.
And they should be able to take this quite freely, because the rest of NIP is just defending against any sort of push. But in the meantime, you're seeing Lemondogs actually respawn. They're going for a push on this middle turret here, and they might be able to get some good damage onto it. But NIP might be able to close in from behind and turn this around.
They let Bjergsen take it. That's going to be the 3-shot barrage. Going to rattle it across. He catches 3 of them. Will they chase this one through? Yes, they will. This is Svenskerin hasn't used that Cataclysm. There it is, but he gets knocked out instantly with the hammer straight away. And then they can see Godbro. He's going to get in towards there. What will his target be? Oh, that was a great Aqua Prism, followed up by a Chain of Corruption. What an absolute marvelous combo coming out from the Lemondogs, and they're just turning this fight on his head. Quickly, they're getting straight on towards it. Svenskerin's going to back away. Still nobody going down. The shock blast comes out, and everybody backs away and says, whoa, guys, let's just take this a little slowly.
And that was after Lemondogs took some huge damage out of the test, who got that perfect ultimate onto 3 members. But that Aqua Prison, just like you mentioned, was perfect. It led into a perfect Chain of Corruption as well. It spread out through the team, and they almost turned it around and picked up 3 kills off of that. So Lemondogs, they lost the dragon, but they didn't lose that fight right there in the end.
Yeah, We Will Fail at landing the perfect bubble. How many times have we said supports are saving the asses of everyone on that team. We saw it with Crepo and Enrated in the previous game. When honestly, we saw support week all last week in the Super Week. There were so many great players. They really are the unsung heroes of your team. If you're playing in solo queue, be sure to thank that player that said, hey, I'm going to play the support, because they are really doing a fantastic job. And it's just showing actually that everybody's stepping up to the plate right now across all of the teams.
Yeah, and you kind of have to. I mean, support isn't necessarily seen all the time as like a huge role or a huge impactful role, but just like I said, we've seen it be that role. You can do quite a bit with it because, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of the time you're not doing too much in lane, or at least in the laning phase, but you know, if you're timing wards, timing buffs, timing the enemy buffs, and really kind of seeing what you can potentially go for or what's developing in the game, you can really be like a strong strat caller for your team.
Oh, look at this. You can see actually the bottom lane there, Tabs is miles away. Aren't NIP going to maybe try and start off a Baron here, or try and bait Dexter into something? They do find it. The test finds on towards Dexter. Dexter runs like the wind away from that one. Wheel Failer quickly covers him off. They could. It would have been a 4v5.
The problem for them is, though, if they went for Baron, that means they're in that cove, and that's where a Kennen ultimate's perfect. That's where Jace can poke you so easily, and Svenskjær is not necessarily tanky enough just yet, I have to say, to really deal with the damage. So it would have been a huge mistake, but they back away. They probably could have gone for the 5-on-4 engage instead of trying to go for Baron or anything like that, and probably won that one.
Well, that's what it seemed they were trying to do, trying to bait them into something, but it has bought time for Lemondogs to come in, sweep across with that Oracle and clear out all of the wards that NIP had just placed down there, effectively nullifying all of the gold. There is still a ward in there. Now, just looking at cross, you can see actually Bjergsen getting a little bit of poke, and they're going to push on down in the mid lane.
Look what Bjergsen has. I totally just noticed. I was like, what is that other kill gem going to go for? He's a Spirit of the Ancient Globes. He has 2 of the items. Maybe he's going for like the Tri-Spirits or something like that. Yeah, it like merges into one big item, but that's going to be really interesting because it's like a Rylai's, but it's a cheap Rylai's.
Maybe it's a hidden, unique passive he's found here that once you get all 3, it suddenly merges
into
like it's an overpowered Triforce. Or is that just the Triforce itself? I don't know.
Freak will know.
Freak would know, indeed. We are going to see Ninjas in Pyjamas getting the poke, continuing down. Actually, they caught a good shot on towards We Will Failure there. We Will Failure caught out of position here, has to use his tidal wave to try and cover off. Is the rest of the team going to be enough to cover off? No, because the test puts the True Shot barrage down, and he has the damage to just wipe him off the map.
And look at the test, 3-0 now on a semi-blue Ezreal build. I mean, NIP, they have the advantage. They can probably go in for a push here if they want to, but still they're being a little bit hesitant, even though it's 5v4. Then again, I mean, I want to say it's just a support, but they already got the ultimate out of them. They don't have the Aqua Prison available anymore, which was so big for them last fight. So it kind of shows that NIP, they don't feel like they're ahead, even though they are up 1,600 gold, which, you know, 27, 28 minutes in really isn't that much.
Well, considering the start, NIP have definitely brought themselves into it, because Zora Zero was a mile ahead of Godbro, and actually he still kept that gap effectively, but look at that, Zoro Zero. He didn't go for a Zhonya's Hourglass, he went for a Rabadon's Death Gap.
Yeah, because he wants that extra damage. He wants to be able to lock them down. And with the speed increase, he should be able to. But still, I mean, he's not tanky at all. So he could technically be blown up if Bjergsen just attacks him. Oh, no, Bjergsen. Oh, okay, good. He wasn't looking at the buy menu, so he was quick enough to back away. But Bjergsen, he didn't go for straight damage, but he still has quite a bit. So he could potentially burst 0-0 down if the test follows up with him. But we'll see if the fights actually do break out that way.
Well, we'll see how it works out. Let's have a look across the board. In terms of CS, honestly, 216 to 219, 243 to 255, very, very close. And even the junglers actually is still kept that 30 gap we saw Svenskjær, which developed as he was helping Godbro. So that's really the only difference. Even the supports, you can see Deficio has been picking up a bit of CS. He's got himself 22 CS in there. In terms of gold, you do see the first person to pass 10,000 is the Tess as well, which equates to items. And, you know, the blue buff Ez, we've talked about it so many times that if he falls behind, it's trouble. But he is actually ahead right now.
Yeah, he is, and so that means they have the ability to really poke quite a bit. But the thing is that what's perfect for the test, if he does pick up that Iceborne Gauntlet really soon, Lemondogs want to engage upon you. He is the perfect person, you know, with the right items to stop that. With that Glacial, or not Glacial Shot, wow, the Iceborne Gauntlet mixed in with Lulu, who pretty much gives you a stun because of that the Glitter Lance.
It is a bit of a stalemate right now. 2,000 gold difference. And honestly, they actually both know, they realize that this next fight is going to be a big one for them. Lemondogs, they want to keep their flow going and picking up 2 games in the day. Which must be pretty tiring for them right now. We're at, what are we at, 8 p.m. here in Moscow. You know, if you have just joined in, we are live in Moscow, so Gambit will be coming up shortly, and you'll get to see just how wild the crowd gets when
oh, you'll hear it easily.
when they get vision of them. We will Failure again, caught out with the cocoon. The spider comes down. Zoro trying to get some poke down on towards the Tess, and actually did get a good combo, and Dexter goes in. Full aggression on him, forces simply just an arcane shift away though. And the Tess, again, just life steals himself up, and the stalemate continues. Ninjas in Pyjamas, they feel confident they can fight for this one. They are kind of fought away from the turret here though, and Lemondogs maybe able to get enough damage down into his True Shot Barrage comes across, and straight away they back off.
The thing is, Flash trying to go in, but actually he might even be out of position as the rest of Lemondogs do back away, but you hit the nail on the head earlier talking about just at what point of the game is both teams need very hesitant to fight, very hesitant to go for anything just now, because the game is so close that one major fight can turn it around. And we saw that with Fnatic versus Evil Geniuses, where Fnatic was behind, but because of one fight at Dragon, they're able to pick that up and able to turn the game around. But now NIP, they're pushing for this middle turret, and they want to get it back.
And what a great turnaround that was. That was simply gone from Lemondogs doing exactly the same to NIP gaining positional advantage and just shoving them back. Forced the flash as well out of We Will Failure, and again, they're turning it back around. You didn't quite have your acceleration gear up there, Nuke. You need that to get a little bit of a blast on them. Didn't quite get the poke down. NIP, they're going to get themselves positioned, and Lemondogs, it's like a back and forth chase up the mid lane, but the bottom lane, look at that wave. Look at that ginormous wave on the turret in the bottom. That's going to force Lemondogs back. Bjergsen actually was going to clear out that top wave, but instantly they've said, look at this. We've got a positional advantage. Nuke, they're trying to close on.
They could go for Baron right here if they spot Tabs, who just, you know, pierce arrows it. He realizes that, oh, I need to get up here really quickly as Dexter.
They've gone for it.
He used a smite on Dragon. That's very bad. He's not going to have it up for this if NIP wants to go for it.
Dexter can't get in to get the steal. How are they going to have the tidal wave is not available either. This is a great bit of play from Ninjas in Pyjamas. They pick up the Baron. There's the Aqua Prison, but it's not going to be enough. We will fail it. Just getting melted down. He gets dropped. Zoro Cataclysm goes on towards Dexter. Zoro is going to get popped there. Hasn't got his on his hourglass. Remember, he went for that rabbit on Deathco. That's going to be Dexter going down as well. The Godbro pulling the hammer down finally on that one. And now Nuke Duck, he's getting closed on. Tabs also, he gets dropped. The Godbro picks up a second. Nuke just around the corner, but the Tess has found him. He's going to try and get away from this one, but it's not going to happen. Deficio picks up the kill, and just like that, we said it was a tense fight, but Ninjas in Pyjamas pick up an ace for one death and the Baron.
And that is how quickly a game can snowball against you. If Dexter, I want to say if he wasn't there quick enough anyways, but not having that smite is so bad for your team. He maybe should have expected it, but NIP picking up one turret off of this. They're going to pick up a second one. They're going to get an inhibitor, and they killed the entirety of Lemondogs. They just got a huge gold lead, not to mention a huge amount of gold period to spend, where Bjergsen picked up an easy large rod. He almost has a zone he's picked up, and the Test 2,800 gold. Even Deficio, the support, has 2,000 gold.
The gold difference was 2,000 before that fight. Now it's 6,000, you can see. So quickly they just built up that huge gap across them, and that is going to equate to a lot of items. We see the Runic Bulwark being picked up. Everybody's going back, popping those big items in. Zonya's Hourglass almost ready for Bjergsen, but what a call. Whoever made that call on NIP, actually you saw Bjergsen, he was going into the top lane. He was about to pick that up. As soon as they saw them down the bottom lane, right, we got lots of minions down there. They're going to have to deal with this one. Guys, everybody gets a Baron now.
Exactly, and that's I guess the benefit to a bottom lane pushing is that you can catch a team off guard. How many times have we ever seen it that an AD carry or just someone goes bottom lane to clear out a big wave and they end up just going straight for Baron and taking it? Just too many. So, I mean, it's unfortunately what you have to do to pretty much push that wave out, but you just saw the outcome of how it goes wrong.
That is disastrously wrong for Lemondogs. It is 6,000 gold between the two, 5-3 in terms of turrets. NIP, are they looking at a second win for the day, which would, unfortunately for SK Gaming, position him right down that bottom of the table?
And we'll see what happens. I mean, they want to go for this win, and they have the items, they have the composition to go for it. Iceberg Gauntlet's finally done for the test, and it looks like they're going to go for push bottom here. So if NIP didn't get that inhibitor off of that push, off of Baron, like off the back of Baron, it would have been a lot harder for them to go into the space. But because they got that, that means there's super minions pushing in the middle wave, and they're going to be able to use this Baron buff for the entirety of this push, where they want to go for that second inhibitor turret, because they can just wait for the super minions to get there, and then they can dive if they want to. They do have everyone there right now. We even have Godbro picking up his Iceborne Gauntlet, so he's in a hurry. He's 3-0-3 considering he was so down in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, he was absolutely bullied, and it just shows that, you know, Svenskeren came down, sacrificed a fair bit of his own farm to get down and help him out. But Godbro, as we know with Nasus, once Nasus gets to that later game, he's going to be a beast however it works out.
Yeah, Tabs, who's pretty much not even built attack speed right now, realizes he just has to poke, become a caster. Wow, that turret is going down extremely fast right now.
And remember, Godbro's Q is going to work on that. He's just going to walk in, smack it, and that's going to be a big chunk of damage on it. The Tess, of course, getting the poke, acceleration gate, keeping that shock blast, getting on towards him, but it's doing nothing, honestly. And the next wave, you've got to feel, once that conga line comes down here, they're just going to walk up and do damage to this turret and possibly take it down. Zoro had the slight wither on him there. We're going to see where they get this.
This is a tricky point, though, because if NIP gets cocky and engages right here, and Lemondogs turns us around, which they might do, as we saw Dexter going in, but they do back away in time. The Supermans are pushing the middle wave right now, and it looks like you might see a fight break out really soon.
Tree Shot Barrage goes down, and looks like that you're going to see Nuke Duck going down. He got literally nuked like a duck, and it was in a microwave. Instead, it's going to be Desonya's Arc that's coming out for Bjergsen. They can't try to put the damage down. He just repels back away, still doesn't go down. That is going to be the ace, and that surely could be the game for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They're going to turn this round in a fantastic style on towards Lemondogs, who honestly earlier on today made SK Gaming look amateur, but instead it's going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas that do, after a hard-fought game, pick up the win. Both Nexus turrets go down, and Ninjas in Pyjamas get their second win of the summer LCS.
And Ninja Pyjamas, who in the Spring Split has a really tough time closing